Blood Bowl fans, to another weekly recap. My name is Lantern Noir, aka Rob.
I'm Chuck Norseman here on week 3 for Blood Bowl Blood.
And again, an amazing week of gameplay from around the league. We're going to start out with some highlights from our top games. We're going to start with Unde Thwop versus the Ragnarots. This was absolutely a bloodbath for both teams. The Ragnarots didn't even wait for the opening whistle to finish blowing before they sent the Bretonian straight into the infirmary. Unde Thwop was not to be deterred, showing that the rustle is the way to play, pulling multiple undead down onto the pitch. Sir Lambert of the Bretonians also showed that the key to success can come through the air as easily on the ground with a high series of passing plays. Final score, Ragnarots 2, Unde Thwop nothing, and a tie on the casualties at 1-1. Continuing around, we then had the Fungus City Cheats versus the Brambleshot Toothtakers. League history got made, folks, in that game, because for the first time since we kicked off for the 2026 season, a goblin became a snack for his own team troll. Kind of an unfortunate series of events there. I probably shouldn't make light of it. No, this is Blood Bowl. That's what we do.
Yeah, it's not unfortunate.
That's what we do. That was after, however, an opening series of plays where both teams successfully pulled off back-to-back one-turn throw teammate touchdowns. Could they keep it up? Unfortunately not. The score ended up being 3 for the Cheats, 2 for the Toothtakers. Cheats winning 3-1 in the casualty counts. And finally, out of these recaps, we turn to the Delphi Duck Dodgers and the 7-Star Jewels. The game was dominated by the Jewels' physicality at the line, punishing the Dodgers. Now, it is not widely known, but when Vanya took her place on the pitch, she was named after famous Olympic ski champion Lindsey Vonn. And like Lindsey Vonn, Vanya has suffered quite a series of twists and agonies, missing most of the first game with an injury, all the second game recovering from the injury, and about 3 turns into this game going back into the injury box. She is currently filing paperwork for a legal name change. That said, the Amazon team did come out hitting. A steal followed by a full series sweep and a pass forward got their first touchdown. Their second touchdown was on an absolute brutally fast drive, showing you don't have to dodge if you can't get caught. They were not deterred, though. The 7-Star Jewels came back with this nice, steady, classic undead grind to put a score on the board. Final score, Delphi Duck Dodgers 2, 7-Star Jewels 1. Casualty count goes to the undead, though, 2-1. Over to you, Chuck.
It's increasing the numbers every time. So on our side, we got the Green Legs and Wham versus Lizard Skinnerd. Score of 2-0 to the Green Legs, but casualties went to the Lizards this time. Despite taking a beating, Green Legs and Wham stayed focused on the objective, punching through the Saurian line twice. The Orcs bend but do not break. Defense was the X factor, absorbing high impact hits from the Lizards repeatedly. But the winning trade, the Lizards walked away with the most violent honors of the match, but Green Legs and Wham walk away with the victory. Talk more about touchdowns. The Green Legs took the hits, but they gave it where it counts, the scoreboard. That's what matters. The second match to talk about was the Elves versus Bester's Jesters, the ringer that we needed. The score was 3-1 for the Elves, but the casualties, Jesters lead 4-0. The tone set early as the Jester's Troll Slayer rolled to stay back-to-back skulls and re-rolled a 1-die block, to handing the momentum over to the Elves for the opening score. The rare moment in Elven clumsiness, McMahon failed to clear out a Jester's halfling, allowing the diminutive defender to tackle the ball carrier on the 1-yard line to save certain score. For the winning casualty count, Thad's Jesters dominated the 4-0, proving that if they could not catch the Elves, they certainly know how to beat them. It was a solid game. Third game to report. I'm going to report on the Sunfall Striders versus the Norse Code Violations. It was a great game where the Norse took it 3 points to the Elves 2 points. Casualty count also went to the Norse, leading 2-1. The teams didn't believe in this ground game stuff you silly people talk about. It was more about vanity passing over and over and over again. The Star Striders opened the game with a turn 2 blitz, utilizing 7 perfect dodges to punch through the lightning fast score and scoring on turn 2, setting the pace for the entire game. However, Norse with their power responded by brutally beating and headhunting the defense of the Elven Blitzers, taking both out in the first half of the game. Also, for what it's worth, Nuffle's roller coaster, Elven coach Andy hit a statistical miracle, rolling 6 more consecutive sixes, only to have his luck evaporate with a 1-1-1 on turn 12, causing the game to go in Norse's favor. The Star Striders don't run, they float. 7 dodges and a turn 2 touchdown, blink, and it's over. You missed it. Over you, Rob.
All right, just going back with the recaps, that was a crazy week.
Not a lot of blood, but a lot of drama and a lot of action.
Absolutely, and then it seems like the passing game is really coming out now.
I'm glad, because the passing game changes the scoreboard more. Less blood, but more points going around for everybody else.
I'll be really curious to see what happens late in the season when we see the teams that are winning the games, but not necessarily scoring the casualties, rank up closer and closer to secure those playoff spots.
It's going to be a big deal in the playoffs. I think we're going to see a better mix of the bash and the edge in the playoffs. Of course, me, I'm kind of in the middle, so.
I'm not even going to claim bash.
No.
I almost took "Don't Hit Me in the Face" as a team name. All right, continuing some scores from around the rest of the league. The Lustria Monarchs squared off with the Skull Ranch Rioters. Score 1-0 to the Monarchs. Nothing in the casualties. And I do feel it necessary to point out to the Rioters coach, Zach, the Blood God is not pleased.
Yeah, no blood for the Blood God. 0-0, that's just unheard of.
We also have the Ramble Shamble squad tying things out with the Ways Ogre in a 1-1 tie. Believe it or not, the Ogres lost the battle for casualties 2-3. Central Cemetery Boneheads lost 1-2 to the Nekahara Capacitators, but they did win the casualty game 4-3.
We have the Snot Trans over there versus the Golden Shamrocks. Looks like the Golden Shamrocks took the score 3-1 and the casualty count 4-2. Savage Joe's Gym versus the Walhalla Warboys. Results pending. We're still waiting on those results. Did someone kill that referee and reporter?
I actually think their game is scheduled after taping.
Ah, that's what it is.
So future us will have to say something next week.
The Silly Gooses versus the Nighthawks. Looks like the Nighthawks took the win 3-2 and the casualty count 3-1 versus the Gnomes.
And meanwhile, we've got the Tomb Raiders in a 1-1 tie with the Dansville Dan Rats. They did win the casualty count 1-0. 10 pounds of chaos in a 5-pound sack versus Dern's Defenders. Score 3 to the Chaos Dwarves, 0 to the regular Dwarves. Well, the regular Dwarves did get 1 casualty. And then you have to question, is the Feldorf Oaths really the Feldorf's Lumberjacks? With their 3-0 win over the Short Stack Smashers, I understand there were some issues with trees falling in the woods and definitely making a sound. The Oaths also won the Battle for Casualties 5-0.
If I read that report right on the 10 Pounds of Chaos, their star player, the Minotaur, took out 9 SPP that game, but took it with him as he
left the field. Yeah,
he left the field. Yep. So that they got some blood there, but it went to the star player.
Ooh.
Bester's Jesters versus the Befoulers. Bester's Jesters took the score. This was their actual game. Score 1-0, casualty count 2-0 in favor of Bester's Jesters. And the Gobby Horror Picture Show versus the Stunt Runts. Also pending results, so that game will be later today. Look for that on the recap in next week's episode.
Absolutely. And as always, thank you to our sponsor, the Kenobi Coffee Company. You might have fine ground coffee, you might have rough ground coffee, but do you have high ground coffee? The Kenobi Coffee Company, your morning's only hope. And that wraps us up for the week. We'll close out with a short memoriam video. Do you have some closing thoughts on the state of the league so far?
The league's turning out really well. I think the people are finally starting to learn that touchdowns matter more than casualties, like we talked about. And I think the Agi teams are starting to level up a little bit, so we're going to give these so-called Bash teams a better run for their money.
Well, we will see. I'm a little bit concerned. I do see the Bash teams are still holding on very strong, and I think they're going to continue to be strong as those players learn how to tackle, they learn more block skills, and they learn how to land a mighty blow.
Yes, mighty blow indeed.
Yeah.
You can't hit what you can't catch.
Amen to that. And on that note, I'm Rob, a.k.a. Lantern Noir.
And I'm Chuck Norseman. We'll see you next time.
Stay safe.
The whistle blows, the morning mist is calling. I see your helmet glisten in the mud, and though the rain of iron starts its falling, I see the grass is thirsty for your blood.